What is up, my beautiful people? My name is G-Vance and welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be talking about the new album by Royce of 5'9" entitled The Allegory. You know, that right there is a fucking waste of a dollar bill. I'll tell you that shit right now. This album is, I think, Royce of 5'9's 8th studio album, and it comes to us a year after 2018's Book of Ryan, which, if you haven't heard that one, I really highly recommend Book of Ryan. I think that is like the best shit that Royce has dropped in a fucking while. It's like really revolutionary. It has more of that like that boom bap style of like the hip hop scene that we all really love. And it's pretty much like him like testing out his storytelling, testing out like his skills and everything, just him like telling his story of growing up around addiction and how he like survived the addiction himself. He is sober now. I don't know how long he's been sober, but he was an alcoholic, and now he's been sober for he's been sober for quite a while. And this whole album just really like explains that whole fucking process of just everything. For those of you that have been following Royce for a very long time now, then you would know that he is like known to like be in Eminem's shadow, which I think is like not like fair, because I think Royce is like a really impressive MC, and he's like super underrated, probably one of the best like underground rappers out there, because yeah, he's not that mainstream, but but like when you put this man on the mic, this man can fucking rap. And that's he never like fails to impress the fuck out of me with everything he does. And even though Eminem is my favorite rapper of all time, Royce being like up there on my personal top 10 of my favorite rappers ever, I do think that if there's anybody in this entire world that can either out rap Eminem or sort of take his spot if he ever like decides to retire, or like if he like passes away, I do think Royce the 5'9" is that one rapper in my opinion that can out rap him or like take his place over if he ever decides to retire or if he passes away. Because Royce is a fucking force to be reckoned with. He's super underrated. He doesn't seem intimidating at all. But like if you like put him against like the rappers of today, like Royce is like just one of those rappers that you do not want to fuck with, because you underestimate like his skills, and then he shows you that he can like fucking do some really good things. So in a nutshell, this album, to me at least, I would consider it Royce attempting a sort of woke album. um he steps outside of his comfort zone, steps outside of Eminem's shadow for the first time, because Eminem is nowhere to be found on this album. And pretty much Royce delivers a brand new project, a brand new like sort of flow, a brand new way of delivering his art and his product, because like I feel like the past like projects that he's made, it's like kind of been the same, like rap, like fucking boom bap, fucking just like the typical sort of like Detroit style of like hip hop that like that we usually see from him. And so I feel like he wanted to like do something a little bit different on this album, trying to be woke, trying to spread a message, trying to spread like some knowledge to the people, which personally I think it fucking works out so good. Pretty much I would say this album is the underground version of Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly, because on that one Kendrick Lamar is like kind of like more political, trying to make like a political statement, trying to like just like acknowledge that there is like obvious there's like some obvious like shady shit going around in America today. And that's kind of what Royce does here. He like shares his own knowledge of like just everything that he thinks is wrong with America. And just pretty much what Royce is doing on this album is like showing the real side of what it's like to be a black man, and just like a black person in general in America of today. For me, I would say one of the big highlights of this album are probably the like very smart and like very like educational like skits that Royce puts on this album. I kind of feel that there are more skits on this album than songs, which I guess for some people that's like not that good of an album, because why the fuck are you gonna put a lot of skits instead of songs? But if you like take the chance to like actually like try to like take in the lessons that the skits are teaching you, like you'd be pretty like fucking and like surprised, and just like it just like makes you fucking think pretty much. There's a skit on this album entitled Ice Cream where it starts off as a little boy talking to his mom, and kind of like asking her, what's the definition of an allegory. And the mom, tells him the definition, and in a way also telling the listeners the definition of the allegory, to anyone that doesn't know what it means. And as she's explaining it to him, you hear an ice cream truck. You hear an ice cream truck coming, and there's that there's that theme song that you always hear on every ice cream truck. And as the person who's driving the ice cream truck, is asking the people, what they want. There's one girl pretty much explaining that 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 theme song that we all hear, that we've all heard as kids in every ice cream truck, is like a hidden like racist ass song. I don't know how long ago, but like some white dude like made that song specifically to like make fun of black people, and now it got turned into this fun, made for kids song, like just pretty much explaining to us, not only to the people like in the skit, but to the fucking listeners, pretty much saying, like we all hear this song and think it's okay, but like, we don't know like the deeper meaning behind it, which I think is really fucking cool, because that's the first time I fucking like heard that like that song has like a hidden like like fucking racist message to it. It's pretty fucking like weird how we like don't know about that shit. Another skit entitled Black People in America, where pretty much that one I think is like probably like the one that makes you think the most, because it has two black males talking to each other, and one of them pretty much like gives them like a hypothetical, how people think that oh, like black people don't belong in America. Not that many people like see the importance of why it's important to have like not only black people but all these like other like races here in America. And pretty much they ask each other, well, what if one day like every black person in America just got together one day and said, you know what, fuck America, just fuck America, let's go back to Africa and just see what the fuck like they do without us. And at the end of the skit, they pretty much say that would be the end of America. Like it really like shows us how like we don't like really see the how like people don't like see the importance of what it's like to have of just how lucky we are to have like every different race here in America. People like are so obsessed with wanting America to be like the whitest country in the world. And like they don't like realize that without these other like races of people, contributing to the success of America, contributing to just everything, they'd be fucked. Like America would be fucked without black people, without the Mexicans, just like without like every race here in America, everyone would be fucked pretty much. And even though Eminem isn't like on a song in this album, he does appear on probably my favorite skit on the entire album, entitled Perspective, where pretty much Eminem is like, I guess, doing like an interview. I don't know who was asking the questions, but pretty much Eminem was like, like sharing like the importance of why hip hop is like a really really important genre like here in America right now, because he pretty much says that hip hop is the only like genre that has been able to bring every like race of people together as one. No fighting, no beef, just bring it together as one, and like give them like a bunch of inspirational. And he goes like way further and deeper to talk about people like Elvis Presley, who took this genre, rock and roll, that like black people started first. How he like puts this like new like twist into it, and just out of nowhere, this white boy just like becomes the king of rock and roll for some reason. And it's like he finds it kind of like interesting, because black people have been like making rock and roll music sound so good for like a really long time, and all of a sudden this dude comes out of nowhere, and kind of like does the same shit, but people are liking it better, and they make him the king of rock. And pretty much like Eminem just like goes like so like deep on like, you know, like why it's important to like put like a much more like better perspective for like for like any like young like African Americans, any young like brown people, to like pretty much like just to like have them see someone like them be successful, and that will also like make them want to be successful, and you know, like not just sit around on their ass doing nothing. You know, that skit just like gave me fucking chills the whole fucking time. It only lasts 2 minutes, but that fucking skit, it gave me fucking chills, because you know, Eminem just pretty much showing like his intelligence, and like, you know, the knowledge that he can like bring into the world. You know, like we see the side of Eminem that we don't like usually like get to see, because he always like hides away, and you know, doesn't really fuck with interviews that much. You know, I'm really glad we got to hear that one skit. But besides the skits, another obvious big highlight of the album are the songs themselves, because Royce the 5'9", you know, pretty much like first of all, the production value is a lot more like different. You know, it's more like jazz, you know, mixed with like that old school sort of hip hop style. You know, kind of sounds like the Griselda Records artists, you know, like sort of helped produce the album. You know, there are a few tracks that do have that same boom bap flow. Like there's this one track called "On the Block," which has DJ Premier on it, and you know, that song just sounds like their typical like prime shit, you know, which I personally love. Well, I don't know if you guys ever like heard of any of the two Prime albums, but they're pretty fucking good, and on the Block just shows how good they're able to work with that whole like boom bap sort of style, and you know, sort of mix it with jazz and mix it with like the modern rap like of today. And of course, the features on the album are so fucking good. You know, Royce the 5'9" has always like been so big on just like, you know, giving underrated artists sort of a spotlight, and sort of like make them shine on their own, because you know, not that many people like really fuck with like a bunch of like underrated shit these days, unfortunately. And you know, just seeing someone like Royce the 5'9" like being an advocate for that, you know, it's pretty fucking cool. For example, West Side Gun, Conway the Machine, and Benny the Butcher are on, all three of them are on this fucking album, not all together, but they are on different tracks with Royce the 5'9", you know. And you know, just hearing Royce and just like collaborating with the fucking people of the Griselda Records, you know, for the very first time, you know, it just sounds so fucking good. You know, they each like sort of like tag team all of those like songs, you know, just sort of like explain, you know, their like you know, their anger, and just like express their fucking voice on like why they don't like the like systematic like just the systematic racist bullshit that they've had to gone through, you know, having to explain the stereotypes that they've had to like be labeled as, you know, just pretty much, you know, showing what it's like to be doomed from the start, you know, what it's like to be looked at as like a typical black person in America. And of course, it wouldn't be a Royce the 5'9" album if he didn't have one person from Slaughterhouse on this album. And of course, that one person is King Crooked. You know, those two, whenever they like go together on a song, like I don't care what anybody says, Royce the 5'9" and King Crooked are like the two people from Slaughterhouse that always went in, always went hard, and you know, that they never fucking disappoint you. You know, they're on a song called Tricked on this album, where pretty much they tell everybody, you know, that like everything is all a trick, everything is a trap, you know, everything that the system like tells you about you, that labels you as, it's just a trap for you to like believe it, and for you to like fall into that stereotype, so people can say, oh yeah, I was right about the, you know, they are just a bunch of fucking troublemakers. You know, it's a really smart and like a really woke album that I'm like really surprised that Royce hasn't like gotten in trouble for this yet, because you know, I know a few people that would not be happy that this album was made. You feel me? And besides working with artists that he's familiar with, Royce the 5'9", like he always does, you know, always finds a way to work with like different people that he's never worked with before, and see if they can create like a new sort of like dynamic sort of duo that has never before been heard in hip hop. And you know, once again, he makes it work. For example, Royce has a song with T.I. on this album entitled Black Savage, which, first of all, Royce the 5'9" and T.I. are like the fucking duo that I never thought I would ever like be able to fucking see. Like, you know, those two work so well together, and I don't understand why it took until this album right now for them to like do a fucking song together, because these two like went fucking hard on this one. This song, the fucking song Black Savage, pretty much is them saying, yeah, you know, we're not the Valentines, and you know, we're not the types to like go and like start trouble on our own, but don't fucking test us, because you know, like, because it's pretty much like don't test my kindness, and don't test my gangster, pretty much, because obviously these two have like been through some shit, and have seen some shit, and have experienced some shit. So you know, it's like a pretty much don't fuck with me sort of album. And on a song called Young World, Royce the 5'9" teams up with the Long Beach modern superstar known as Vince Staples, which, you know, those two, again, another like really like good duo that I never thought that I would be able to hear. Fucking obviously Vince Staples also has a lot to say. You know, being somebody from Long Beach, you know, obviously being, you know, labeled as a typical like violent like black man and everything. Just pretty much like that song is more of a, you know, how are these like stereotypes and labels like affecting the young world of today. Because if anything, the young people of today are like probably like the strongest generation there has ever been in the world. And pretty much like Royce and Vince Staples are like sort of like acknowledging and realizing that like, you know, that this young world right now are a fucking force to be reckoned with. And you know, not even the stereotypes or labels are gonna like fucking affect them, because I feel like the young people of today are the ones that are not afraid to speak their mind, and are not afraid to like sort of like fight for what is right, which I think is super fucking beautiful. Because at the time, we're like a lot of like young people that are now adults, you know, we're like super scared to speak their voices out. You know, that right there is something super fucking beautiful. And I'm like really glad that they like sort of like gave them a voice and gave them like a fucking spotlight to like speak their shit. Overall, this album is pretty much like the woke album that you thought you never needed, because you know, it just like has a lot of like different shit that not that many rappers talk about. And you know, like it pretty much like makes you think. Like after hearing that album, I had to chill for a little bit, because I was like, that was a lot of shit to take in. And I think this once again is one of Royce the 5'9's best shit he's ever dropped. And I'm really glad he like stepped outside of his comfort zone and sort of like did something more different to give to his fans, because I feel like this album is gonna be remembered a lot by a lot of people who love hip hop and everything. So shout out to you, Royce. You know, this album was like a really like smart one. Overall, I highly recommend this album to each and every one of you. Even if you're not a hip hop fan, please give this album a listen. You know, yeah, it's an hour and 8 minutes long, you know, 22 tracks, but you know, trust me, like every fucking song on this album is worth it. You know, every song, every skit, just everything about this album is so fucking great. And you know, I honestly can't wait to see what else Royce does next, because like it's all up fucking hill. You know, from this album, you know, it's all uphill. And with that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, click that bell down below, all that good stuff, so you don't miss a single one of my uploads whatsoever. And don't forget to stay happy.
Thou shalt not fuck with Detroit me. Never owned a Coogee Ford truck or a pair of them Gator Maurice.